What's up, guys, and welcome to another Hungover podcast, the topical show where we take you through every single topic you need to hear about. I'm one of your hosts, Julien, alongside
Yvonne over here, and we're going to be hopping through a few destinations in the program we have ahead. But before we get to you about that, I'm going to trip over my words to tell you about how you can listen to us on SoundCloud or iTunes. Check us out in our video format to see our beautiful faces on YouTube, and hop around on those things just as we'll be hopping around to our favorite destinations that we would like to go to in the world.
Yes, that is the topic of the show, the top 5 favorite dream destinations of our choosing, of course. You guys can have different ones, and we'd like to hear about them in the comment section below. And Yvonne, I'd like to tell the audience one last thing before we get started. You can hopefully leave us an iTunes review. That will super help us with visibility, and maybe you could give us 5 stars to boot. That would be great. Yvonne, we start our podcast out every single week by asking each other what media have been consuming lately, and what did you drink last night?
Well, thank you, Julien, for introducing this section, because this might be the most information I can bring to this section for a while.
Yes.
We haven't spoken in a while because you've been doing some travel time hopping yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I have taken it upon myself to not turn off the air conditioner, so that's going in the background.
Yeah, well, fuck the environment. I don't know.
But also, shit.
It doesn't waste that much power. It's just really hot. It does.
I'm talking about the noise pollution for this podcast.
Oh, well, I mean, I've got the fan on. I hope y'all can't hear that shit. We're turning it off. This is some awesome hungover gaming content for you. All right.
Cut back in.
Cut? I'm not cutting shit.
So, Julien, the things I've been checking out, I've been trying to retain my title of the movie guy.
Movie guy in the podcast.
Yeah, okay. And so I have seen a bunch of stuff recently.
Yes.
I'll talk about probably the 2 that were in theaters that I saw recently. One was Sofia Coppola's new movie, which is a remake of an old movie, I think, called The Beguiled, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, so it stars Nicole Kidman, Colin Farrell, and Kirsten Dunst. Colin Farrell is an injured soldier that gets brought to this kind of schooling house during the Civil War, and he's a Union soldier in the South, and he gets taken in by a gaggle of women who are training to be ladies. So they're
okay, yeah, okay, sorry,
yeah.
I know this movie. Okay, keep going.
And there's intrigue, and it gets real sexy.
Yes.
But it's a pretty good movie. Sofia Coppola is a very interesting director. The notes that it hit were not ones that I expected, and I kind of felt I left feeling empty and kind of really considering what I had just seen. So I think Sofia Coppola did a pretty good job of translating that. But I really enjoyed that it was a female director again, working on a story that's very female-centric.
Yes, we need more women around.
Yeah, and they had some pretty interesting performances, and it's always nice to hear Colin Farrell speak in Irish accent.
Irish.
And then that was good. What did you heard about The Beguiled?
Is that the... I watch a lot of talk shows for some reason. I don't know. Those are just things I like to watch on some free time, maybe during lunch or something. Mm-hmm. And I can't really remember, but I just remembered the setting and that Nicole Kidman. I think Nicole Kidman was on a talk show and she was promoting it, and that's why I heard about it. I don't know much about it, but that's about it.
I recommend it. It might not necessarily be a movie theater film. I think
heavy.
All movies are probably benefited by being in a movie theater and going to see them.
That's why they're
But
made.
this isn't one that you have to. It's not like The Revenant where you had to go see that in the movie theater because that actually made that movie worth watching. The Beguiled can probably be seen on a regular TV screen and be just as good.
So it's not very action heavy. It's more story oriented.
Yeah, it's a lot of dramatic action
during a war. That's cool.
Yeah, there are no battle scenes. It's very
that's
much
great.
very much centered on the house that they're in. So it's very closed off. Even though it's in this on this larger property, it feels very closed off from the rest of the world.
Okay.
The one that you have to go see in theaters and is really good is Baby Driver.
Baby Driver. Oh my god, everyone's really happy about this movie.
Yeah, this is a really cool film. It's the new Edgar Wright film. He's the director, and if you don't handily recognize him, Edgar Wright is the same guy who did Ant-Man, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and he also did the 3 Cornetto trilogy movies, so Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The End of the World. He's a very stylistic director, and this movie really is focused on bringing out that stylistic aspect to his movies. You'll notice some of those fast shot montages of like action moving along, like when Sean would go to the restroom and brush his teeth or whatever. They have some of those shots in this movie. That's a staple of Edgar Wright movies. And then there are a bunch of other really cool things that he does. And the music it's really well done, but it integrates in the movie in a way that you feel you remember why there are breaks from sound and music in other movies.
Okay.
So it's like the music really fits into it, but after a while it also is like you feel in a similar way that you feel how the character must constantly keep noise in his mind and never has a quiet moment. So you feel that throughout the film because every second of the film basically has some sort of music or noise or something just pushing the film along. That's driving the action, as it were.
That's pretty cool. Not many movies have a constant song, just playing in the background, constant background music.
But I thought it was really good. I thought the action scenes were really well shot, and I'm a big fan of how the driving stunts were done.
Awesome. Oh man, what else? Is that it or?
That's about it. Had a good time for the 4th. Had a lot of Coronas.
Corona is a Mexican beer, not an American one, but all the better to celebrate this country with because we got to keep them out. But we got to show them by drinking their beer. Keep them damn Mexicans out of our country with the wall. We need the wall. Okay, yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad you had a good time. Of course, Yvonne, our viewers may listen to our previous podcasts, or maybe this is their first one, but I've been in Hong Kong for the past 7 days. Despite what you might think, we did upload. We stuck to our upload schedule somehow. Thank you, Yvonne. That's
for the most part.
Entirely Yvonne, except for that's it. Yeah, that's entirely Yvonne. But so I've been in Hong Kong for the past 7 days visiting family because my mother is from Hong Kong. Well, she's from Macau, but she lived a lot in Hong Kong as well once her family moved there. But so that's
your mother's a fascinating life story, and we should have her on the podcast.
Yes, once I tell her about it. So I've been there. I guess I have quite the stories to tell. We'll go over them now, and that's sort of what inspired the topic of the show. But I've been, of course, traveling from New York to Hong Kong takes around 16 hours, 15 hours-ish. So if you go directly, of course, which we did. It's a very long flight. But I had a pretty good one, actually, considering both going there and back we got upgraded to business class, dude.
Nice.
So lucky. Oh my god. Let me tell you a thing or two about business class on one of these overnight flights, Yvonne. The people, the airplane flight, I felt so out of place, by the way. I don't know. I mean, my family, I'm lucky to have experienced maybe some things that people don't, in terms of, like, going to an opera or, like, going to something, Broadway shows, going to things that cost a little more money, of course. And I'm really thankful for that. But, I mean, we never take business class or anything. We're not fucking crazy rich or anything. But, which is not a problem. But it just, it felt so... I felt so out of place, and I felt really bad to be there. But I wanted to also enjoy, like, take advantage of it, because I'll probably never fly business class again. So unless, who knows, maybe I'll win the lotto. But yeah, so what they do, or at least on Cathay Pacific, they have all the flight attendants, they address you by your name, because they all know, they have a list of their names, and they're only, I don't know, like 10 or 15 people in business class, I think. And so they're like, oh, Mr. Julien. I guess I shouldn't say my last name on the internet, but they address you by your last name, and then they give you tablecloth when you're eating, and real silverware, and a really, like, it was a let's see, we had appetizer, main course, cheese and fruit, and then dessert. It was a 4-course meal, Yvonne. And as soon as you sit down, they give you champagne. No time to waste, Yvonne. They're just giving you booze all the time, whenever you want. It's crazy. It's amazing. Nuts. And then they've got tea and coffee as well, but I guess you can get that. And you can also get beer in an economy class, I believe, and wine and things like that.
On those long international flights, a lot of companies
it's
do
usually free
alcohol.
Yeah, because you need it. But let's see. Also, you can recline all the way on the chair. You can literally lie down. It was pretty amazing. I got to sleep. I got like 6 solid hours of sleep on the plane. Amazing. But what do you fill the rest of the time with? I watched 3 movies, and both, not 6 movies total, but 3 movies total on the 2 flights. I watched. I shouldn't have watched Get Out on the plane, because that's a movie that needs, again, like you said, should be seen in theaters. I guess maybe, but also.
I think it was good in theaters.
Yeah, it's probably, I should have seen it in theaters. But I watched Get Out on the plane. I know I'm late. I watched a bunch of movies that I wanted to see, but I never get to the theater because...
That's what the airplane is for, let's be fair.
And that's why I should travel more, so I get to see more movies. But yeah, I watched Get Out, John Wick Chapter 2,
nice.
and Logan. All movies I really wanted to see, and I was so happy I got to see them all. How did you
miss
Logan, right?
Logan in theaters is so good, and John Wick too.
Yeah. I love Wolverine too. He's one of my favorite. He is my favorite X-Men for sure. Maybe Magneto, but so close second. But I think I noticed that movie. I mean, obviously Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart, that's his name, Professor X, have been cast as those two, Professor X and Wolverine, for the past 10 years. But I think, right? Except for First Class and, well, no, obviously Hugh Jackman's always been Wolverine, but
it's been a very long time that
Days
Hugh
of
Jackman
Future
was
Past.
Wolverine.
I mean, not all of the X-Men movies were good, but I assure you that those 2 characters are... I don't know how they got them to sign that contract. They are perfect, or those 2 actors, sorry, are perfect for those roles, I think. Or maybe they really grew into the character by this movie, because I think it was really, really well done. I mean, of course, these movies came out a long time ago. You guys have already seen them. I'm just coming around to my first time seeing it. So I'm really excited about these movies, as everyone else was really excited about these movies when they came out. John Wick 2, I loved it. I love Keanu Reeves. He's one of my favorite actors. He's sort of like a guilty pleasure for me because he doesn't really make the best movies sometimes. But for instance, if you've seen, I think it was called Knock Knock. I've seen more Keanu Reeves movies than I should have. I think I might have seen them all. Drive, obviously, or Speed, obviously amazing.
Right.
But Knock Knock, have you seen this movie?
I don't know that movie.
I think it's called Knock Knock. Basically, the premise is his wife goes away. Again, I think it might have been filmed in the same apartment as John Wick 2. You know, his really nice apartment?
Yeah.
He's an architect in this movie. I think they use the same set. I'm not going to lie about it. But his wife goes away on a trip, and it's raining one day, and these two girls knock on his door, and basically coerce him into staying the night because it's pouring rain. He lives in the middle of nowhere. They're there because whatever. It's so dumb. But basically, he ends up cheating on his wife with these two women, and then they end up staying the next day and start fucking up all his shit because they know he has a wife. And basically, these two women go around getting guys to cheat on their spouses, and then holds that, and then basically blackmail the guy, and they end up killing people. Like, it gets so fucking crazy. I shouldn't spoil it, I guess, but there's this really great scene where he's tied up in a chair and he's like yelling about why he's basically like, you put it out on the table, it's like free pizza or something like that. It's such a, you should see this scene. It's so funny. It's just like so over the top, and the things he says are so ridiculous and just unbelievable. Why would you even say that?
I didn't even hear about this movie.
Because the thing about Keanu Reeves is he makes these big blockbuster films, action films, The Matrix, John Wick, Speed, and then he likes to switch between sort of indie movies and larger.
To be fair,
action films.
John Wick is more on the indie side.
Yeah, but I think it got a lot more advertisement than most indie movies do. I'll give it that. But yeah, so I like that about Keanu Reeves. He does, and I also watched another movie, not on the plane, only related to Keanu Reeves, called My Own Private Idaho, which is super indie, and I don't remember much of it, and I don't think I made it through because I didn't really like it. But he makes a lot of movies. He has had a long career. He's really actually kind of old now.
Yeah, he's
actually
like 50
50 something. Not that that's particularly old, but he's a lot older than you think he is.
Yes, because
based
he
on
looks
John
like
Wick
he's
2.
like 12. Basically.
Yeah, I know, which is amazing. Good for him. And then Logan was awesome. Get Out was awesome. And John Wick 2, I really like the action scenes. I feel like they should have done. They shouldn't have advertised that Lawrence Fishburne was in that movie in the trailers, because he has such a small part in it. And it would have been way more of a surprise if we figured out that Morpheus and the One and Neo were in the same movie again. And then they actually had a line where he said, "It's been so long." Basically, that was a great scene. I liked it.
To be fair, I don't watch trailers, so I was super surprised.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So that's good. That's what they should... They had that, basically, that entire scene in the trailer. It was bad. But,
really?
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, those are 3 movies I watched. Really excited to see them. And then I went to Hong Kong, Yvonne. I guess we can sort of go into the topic here. I'll talk about my trip to Hong Kong. I was going there because my cousin was getting married. And also I haven't seen my mother's family in almost 10 years because Hong Kong is very far away. But yeah, It was a great time. We went. My mom took me to Macau, which is about an hour and a half or an hour boat ride away from Hong Kong, which
Nice.
is nice.
Did you go
Take a
gamble?
boat. Did not gamble. We actually took a walk around. It would have been fun to gamble, I guess. And again, I guess I should preface this. I've actually never traveled aside from going to Canada without my parents. I've just realized this. I've never traveled to a different country without my parents, which is kind of interesting. I'm such a freeloader. Let's put it that way.
That's the well. If you can do it for free, do it for free, right?
No, hell yeah. No, but like I'll never. Well, I don't want to say I'll never. I've never gone to a place and also yeah, and been able to like go out to the bars and do all the things the youngsters do because I'm always with my parents. But so that's probably why we didn't go to the casino. But also Macau has so many. I don't even know where to start with this trip. Sorry, we did a lot of things. We'll start with Macau, even though that was the last thing we did. Macau was probably my favorite part of the trip. For those who don't know where Macau is, I think it translates to like the sea gate. That's what in Chinese. That's what Macau. It's like what is it? Omen. That's what not like omen, like an ominous omen, but Omen is the name for Macau in Cantonese, I think. And I'm probably wrong about that, but it means like the sea gate. So it's in the southwestern part of China.
Southeastern.
Southeastern. Oh shit! Yeah, it is southeastern. Yeah. So
I
it's
can
just
only
on
say
the-
this because I'm looking at the wiki map.
No, it is the southeastern. I just mixed it up because I don't know right and left on a map, and my life, I don't know right and left. But yeah, so it is an island essentially, or Taipa is the main island, and Taipa is 11 square miles, and there are 650,000 people that live on that island. So it is technically the most densely populated area in the world. And that doesn't include tourists that go every day. So it is a very crowded place to say the least. And you sort of have this weird, because of the casinos, this weird dichotomy between old times when my mom was living there and prior to these casinos being built, and then all these new casinos and tourist attractions. So it's like it's a very tourist heavy city. I guess you can call it a city. Yeah, it's definitely a city. They're large very tall buildings. The Grand Lisboa, I think, is the most oddly shaped building. You should look this up, Yvonne.
I'm looking at the skyline stuff.
The skyline's beautiful.
Yeah, I see the Grand Lisboa. It's like
I
this
don't know how to pronounce
flowery
that word.
thing.
Yeah, it's a building. If you can imagine a building shaped like a flower, that's what this building looks like. It gets wider as it goes up, which is kind of scary if you ask me. But that's a building you can see almost everywhere in Macau, which is so funny. You just look up and you see it because it's a small place. But I really liked sort of. Well, I really like all the side streets that my mom was taking me. She was telling me all this stuff because she lived there when she was a kid and she grew up there in Macau. And we got some really good food there. Let's see, she was telling me the dish that you pretty much can't get anywhere else is essentially fried milk. Iman. We got fried milk there. Which sounds kind of weird because it is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Either you can get it deep fried or you can get it. It's sort of like stir fried. So, what ends up happening is they mix cornstarch and milk, and then the way we had it was stir fried, and then they sort of put it in a wok, and they sort of end up evaporating some of the water, and then that makes it a little chunky, and sort of curled. Yvonne, look, you'd actually like this meal.
I mean,
It sort
I'm
of
sure
ends
I
up
would.
it sort of ends up getting the consistency of scrambled eggs, the way we had it.
Okay.
and then they put almonds on top, and it's a savory meal. Although it's ever so slightly sweet, so I could see having it for dessert. Um, but you have it over rice. It's actually pretty good. I can't say I wouldn't be able to finish a whole dish of it, but on its own. But it's nice. The way the Chinese eat is you'll have a whole bunch of smaller dishes, and you'll sort of and a bowl of rice, and then you'll sort of eat sort of like freestyle, have what you want, and that's really I really like that about China and Chinese
Yeah, we're
eating. But yeah, so we had that, and then we also had something that you probably should never have anymore, but because the Chinese will still eat shark's fin soup, they it's really inhumane what you do to the and I probably shouldn't say that I had it and supported this horrible thing. They do this to the sharks. They basically cut off the fin. If you don't know, shark's fin soup is made from shark's fin. They cut, and what the Chinese do, yes, I'm calling you out, China, you shouldn't be doing this, but it tastes good. And I know why you did it. They cut off the fin from the shark and then just throw the shark back in the water, and the shark ends up suffering and dying and bleeding to death because they can't swim at all without their fin. And it's really bad, but shark's fin I saw all over Hong Kong and Macau. They still eat it. So I mean, I figured we gotta try it for the last time, right? So we got it.
Try it while the shark still exists.
Let me tell you, it's really fucking good. I'm so sorry. It's like eating veal. Just like, it's so good. It's so good. But it's so bad. It's just something you just shouldn't eat. We shouldn't be doing these things as humans. But we do. And that's, to be honest with you, that's great. And those were the two dishes that I had that I mean, I'm used to eating a lot of Chinese food. And so there aren't many things that they cook in Hong Kong and Macau, aside from really those two, that I don't really have in America and in New York as well. It's a lot of stir fry. I guess we also had Sichuan food, which is something that you might not be able to get out in Syracuse, Yvonne. Well, I mean, you'll see. Oh, it's Sichuan food from in the American Chinese places, right? But it's not really.
I assume everything that is served to me in the American Chinese places is just Americanized Chinese food.
Yeah,
because they all get the same recipes from the American Chinese associations.
Right. So Sichuan food is a lot more spicy, and they actually use Sichuan peppercorns, which literally, maybe it's just me, but they make your tongue go numb. And this isn't from a spicy perspective. This is just like your tongue's going numb, not because it's too spicy, but because it's going numb. And I think this is just some compound in the Sichuan peppercorn that makes it do that. But basically, a lot of Sichuan dishes involve an obscene amount of Sichuan chili peppers and Sichuan peppercorn, and you'll basically just see a mound of red. Like, it's literally just chopped up peppers and then whatever else you got, and it's just red. Everything's just red because you see only the peppers, and what you end up doing is you pick out the food that you want to eat, but you don't take any of the peppers. I don't know. It seems kind of wasteful to me to use that many peppers. But what we got was this fish dish, which had there was, I think, zucchini in it. I'm not sure, but it's like this white fish. I think it was a bass, thin slices, and then it's like a vat of oil and peppers, and it seems like it would be way too oily, but it's actually not, especially when you have it with some rice. It's a really nice meal, even though your tongue kind of goes numb, and I thought it was really good, and it's fun to pick around and play with your food because you have to. Anyways, but the two drinks that I had there, the two beers that I want to talk about that I haven't seen in America are Blue Girl. There's a Blue Girl Pilsner. Have you had this?
Don't know.
I think it's only popular in the Hong Kong area and Macau and Canton, Guangdong. I think that's Canton. But yeah, it's a Pilsner. It's light, and it's really good for that hot, humid weather out there. And then there's also San Miguel, which is also a Pilsner, I think. That one might be more popular in America. I think you can probably get that in America because it's not. I don't think it's actually. It's brewed. They do have a brewery in Hong Kong where they make it, but I think they export it elsewhere. And then Tsingtao, which you can obviously get anywhere. But yeah, Tsingtao. It's a good beer. They all work really well with Chinese food because they're lighter beers for a meal that's usually a little more spicy, more fresh flavors. So they're really good. But yeah, so I guess I also wanted. We're going long, but on this because I really loved Hong Kong. I don't know. I have some weird fascination with their apartment buildings. They're really just. I think the best way. They're really urban, I guess, and I really like urban settings. And narrow streets and crowded and
Are you
like urban.
telling me a New Yorker likes urban settings?
Yes, but
How odd.
more so, it's very different in New York. So New York has Chinatown, which is actually basically all Hong Kong people and people from Southeast China that all speak Cantonese, and so. If you made Chinatown in Manhattan an entire city, it would basically be Hong Kong. So that's basically
That sounds delicious, by the way.
a way you can describe it, I guess. And then you have a lot taller buildings, and then there's obviously a financial center and all that sort of stuff. But it still has that sort of grime you get in Chinatown. I don't know. You've been to Chinatown. In New York City, you've smelled the smell, all right? That grimy smell is nasty, but that's the sort of shit you get, all right?
From the open air markets.
I love it. It's great. Yeah, no, it is from the open air market. So at the end of the day, they wash down the street with some water and everything, and all the fish.
And everything
fish water.
they just pour water on everything, and that cleans it.
It's not cleaning, but basically they have all the fish on the ice, and the ice melts by the end of the day, so they have to move that water somewhere. They pour it in the gutter.
So then
and
you just get layers of fish grime from days on days.
And it is literal grime. It's green. It's nasty, and it smells bad. But that's the sort of grime you get in Hong Kong as well. I don't mean to offend any Hong Kong listeners, but you fucking know what I'm talking about, right? Right? It's nasty. But yeah, there's a lot of open air markets, which is really nice. And there's a lot of dried things that you can get. The Chinese love to dry everything, from mushrooms to shark's fin, to literally
the old
everything.
Preservation, right?
Yeah, that is. And they still practice it, and they use it. They usually use dried things in stews and things like that, and braising other things as well, which is nice. But yeah, I have some weird fascination with their apartment buildings, which are all like very square and really tall, and they're all pretty close to each other, and they're all really dirty. And I don't know. I really like the aesthetic of that for some reason. But that's just me. Some people would think they're ugly. I think they're really cool looking. But Hong Kong also has a beautiful skyline. They have all these really tall buildings that are all financial based, I think.
As seen in The Dark Knight.
Yes, The Dark Knight. I actually had a picture with that Dark Knight building where Batman sort of jumps into it and then steals Lau, I think. Is the name of that character. We talk too much about The Dark Knight, but it's a really great movie and you should see it. And I think Christopher Nolan is remastering them in 4K, but it'll take a while. He said it's going to take a while.
Well, it'll take as long as I need to get
A 4K
my
TV.
own 4K TV.
Which is happening soon because they're getting cheaper in price. Anyways,
there was a 55-inch for $500, 4K Ultra
God.
HD or whatever.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, this is true. They're constantly at $500 now. But yeah, Yvonne, Hong Kong's a great skyline. I don't want to belabor the point. Hong Kong's a great city. I suggest you go check it out if you get the chance and you're in the neighborhood. The Southeast Asian countries are amazing. It's really hot out there though, and if you don't like crowded areas, maybe you shouldn't go. But it's really hot and humid also. Don't go if you don't like those things. But if you like urban settings, you like Chinese food, you like all these things, and you can speak Cantonese or English. Hong Kong, an official language of Hong Kong is English, so obviously it was a British colony. It's really great, so I suggest you guys go if you can get the money to get out there. But I also went to a traditional Chinese wedding. My cousin got married to a woman who her family is very wanted a traditional Chinese wedding, so he's basically forced into it, and it's very, very complicated. Basically, the whole wedding process took from 8 a.m. We had to get there at 8 a.m. and then we went until midnight. It was crazy, dude. It was an all-day affair, and I can't say I want to get married that way, but it is fun. It was a lot of fun, and my cousin has really great friends, and so does his wife. So they all helped out with the process. Basically, it's sort of like it's sort of like a Western wedding in that you're not supposed to see your bride the night before, I guess. I think that's common in Western weddings. Yes. Not sure. I can't say I've been married, so I wouldn't know. But basically, they had to change clothing a lot, and they had to wear traditional Chinese garb, and it was really cool that he and his wife had to offer like a ceremonial tea to literally everyone in my family, nice. which took the majority of the morning. Which was really cool. And they hired all these photographers.
What kind of tea was it?
It was jasmine tea.
Was it like one of those where the like flower blooms inside the pot?
Oh no. Actually, they put a date in it and a lotus seed in it as well. I'm not sure I'm not an expert on this sort of stuff. And also, prior to this, like a month before, he had to go ask the family for permission to marry his now wife. And to do this, he had to bring over all sorts of dried fruits, and they had these 2 coconuts. They're like large coconuts. They're about like a soccer ball in size. And they had
like
stickers.
This?
Yeah, they're very large coconuts, dude. Yvonne, I'm telling for the audio listeners, all right? The audio listeners.
I'm just imagining a soccer ball size coconut,
right? Isn't that amazing?
That would be
huge.
You could make so many pina coladas, coconut donuts.
Dude, I love coconut.
I'm excited. So this entire podcast is just about
my trip to
Hong Kong.
We'll go
culture.
through our top 5 lists, I swear. But yeah, it might be a longer podcast because we've gone on for 40 minutes. I wanted to talk about this trip though. It was a lot of fun.
It sounds awesome. I'm really excited to learn about this. Okay, so why the dried fruit and such?
It's just that's a good question. I don't know why. Right? I don't know why. Look, it's just like a peace offering, right? Or and basically they had they taped this Chinese character, which I don't know how to pronounce it in Chinese, but it means like double prosperity. It's a character that's actually very commonly used on all sorts of porcelain and things like that. Double prosperity. But basically the point is he also had to give lychee, which is the red envelope for the they put money in during Chinese New Year. He had to give them. It wasn't like a crazy amount of money. It was just it's just tradition to give money to the family. And then basically he had to double all of this, so he takes half of it back to his family, and their family keeps some of it. And they had these you know what the moon cakes are?
I've heard of them. I've never eaten
lunar one. So for the lunar festival, which is I think in autumn, in the lunar calendar, the Chinese celebrate the harvest, and they make these cakes which are called moon cakes, and they end up, I think they put a duck yolk inside of it, so it's very, very rich. I don't know if you've ever had a duck yolk or a duck egg.
Couldn't say that I have.
Tastes super different from chicken eggs in the yolk alone. The whites are pretty much the same, but the yolk is like if you combine like 12 egg yolks, chicken egg yolks into one egg yolk, it would be that rich. That's how rich duck egg yolks are. And basically this cake ends up having a duck yolk in it, so it's a super rich cake. And they have these really cool prints on them because they use a mold. And the ones that they had, I guess they had like a dragon and a phoenix one, because that's, I don't know, really popular in traditional Chinese culture. And it was really funny. They were telling me they did it, I think like 3 months ago. They gave it to their family, and they were telling me that the father of the bride ended up eating the cake like the day before the wedding. So it was a really old cake that he shouldn't have eaten. It's just a funny story, anecdote. But yeah. But there are all sorts of traditional stuff that I didn't really understand and know that had to happen. But they also had a sort of a Western thing in the middle where they got married in a church. And my cousin was actually an altar boy at this church. And it was really funny to go to because I've been to weddings that happen in churches, and they're always like, I don't know, they're kind of boring.
In the States or
yeah,
elsewhere?
In the States, an American Western wedding, because I'm not that into hymns and things like that. But this one, they had a white pastor, I don't know if he was white, but he definitely wasn't Chinese. And he could speak fluent Cantonese. It was really crazy. And the whole thing was in Cantonese, so I got to experience a Western wedding in Cantonese. And all of the hymns, or whatever you call them, I don't know what they're not hymns. The songs that you sing to honor Jesus or whatever. I'm not religious at all.
Yeah, I think they can be called hymnals.
I thought so, but anyway, yeah. So they were all in Chinese. It was really cool. And my cousin, basically then after he kissed the bride, my cousin walked off with her to the back of the church. He put on a leather jacket, and then he came back with her. It was pretty fucking badass. I thought it was badass. Dope. But this leather jacket had significance because it was my grandfather's leather jacket, which was cool. And then there was this whole, they had the reception at the Hyatt Regency in Hong Kong, very nice hotel. And they combined, because Chinese families are very large and they both had a lot of friends. Combined, they filled out an entire banquet hall. I think they had about 20 tables, each with 10 people. They had like 200 people at this wedding. It was fucking crazy.
Did you guys come the furthest away, or did a bunch of people come from the States?
No. Well, actually, is Vancouver closer to Hong Kong or is New York?
Depends on which way you fly.
I think Vancouver's closer to Hong Kong in terms of flight hours. But yeah, I think we were the farthest away. We have family in Sydney, or one person lives in Sydney. I think my mom's cousin lives in Sydney, and and her husband was the only other person that didn't speak Chinese there.
It's 13 and a half hours.
That's yeah, so I'm I guess slightly closer Vancouver is.
Because you were 16?
Yeah, we were 15 and
Okay.
a half or so. But yeah, so that it was a 10-course meal. Chinese love banquets. It was an ordeal, man. And we've gone on for 45 minutes, so I'll stop talking now. I had a great time in Hong Kong. It's definitely another I would put it on this list if I hadn't been there 4 times already. But yeah, Vaughn, let's move on to the topic of the show. Definitely go visit Hong Kong. Yvonne,
we're on the topic of the show. We're just discussing it very in depth, the reason that you would go to Hong Kong.
That is, and I will not talk in depth for the rest of these people, the rest of these countries. But yeah, Yvonne, I'll give you the floor. I don't know. I'm done. Excuse me.
No, that was fun. I enjoy learning about other cultures and learning about how people experience their vacations or their travel, etc. So that was really interesting, and the reason for you to be there is this very intense occasion of a wedding, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. A really cool reason because it's, well, your mother having been there, but also like having an event or an occasion to go to an area is kind of a different way to experience, because then you get a lot of local tour guides or whatever, even if you're not from the region. So I know my girlfriend is going to South Africa later this month and is going there for her best friend's wedding, and she'll go travel around with her best friend's now husband.
Oh man, that's exciting!
Because he's from there. So that
where
will
in
be
South
cool.
Africa?
So they're going to Johannesburg and Durban.
Oh, Durban.
Yeah.
Man, that's cool.
So I don't know, maybe she'll be able to swim with some sharks.
What was the name of the salesperson in Metal Gear Solid 4? Was it Durban? It started with a D.
I was just looking at videos of this guy. It was something like that.
Whenever I remember, whenever I hear the city Durban, I always think of that guy, but it's probably just not true that his name is Durban, and I'm just making that up. But yeah, anyways.
Oh God, what was his name? I'm looking it up now. I can't let this go.
Yeah.
But in general,
I guess...
yeah, so I think it's fun. I generally like to travel with a purpose so that I stay for an extended period of time.
That's a great idea.
And generally
7 days is not enough.
Yeah. I really like to get paid to travel. That's best.
Also a great deal. So I hear you've worked your way Drebin, I was close. I hear you've worked your way into getting paid to go somewhere soon. Yeah,
so hopefully I'll be in Turkmenistan by the time the next podcast comes out, or just about then.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm going to be working in Central Asia at some place that I've never been before. My dad actually served in the Soviet military. He was a cadet in the army, and he was stationed in the Central Asian region. So he has some knowledge of it, but he has never been to Turkmenistan.
Okay. Which
is where I'm going. And so that'll
be interesting. Take that, Dad.
Yeah, suck it. But this is not the only place. So this is an unexpected opportunity that fell into my lap. But a place that I would really like to forge an opportunity to go, and I'll go, I guess, more Western to least Western. I'd really like to go to New Zealand and do the dorkiest tour possible.
Go see the what's the name of the native people there?
The
Maori? No.
Maori.
No. Maori, yeah. Maori. Yeah.
Just
hang out with them.
Yeah, check out what
go bungee jumping. What else do they do there?
I want to see all the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah, that's true, right. You just dress up as Aragorn, or who you're Gimli,
Legolas,
right?
or Gimli. My hair is more like Legolas, but my spirit is more like Gimli.
Definitely.
No, New Zealand seems like a country that's just filled with these exotic landscapes all crunched
they speak
into
your language.
one place. It's an
Kiwis.
English-speaking country for the most part, and it has some really interesting history and climate to it. So I've always been intrigued with it.
Yeah, no, I would love to go there too.
Yeah, so New Zealand is the one place that I find interesting, specifically to go visit. I guess a lot, if you pay attention, audience, a lot of the places that I choose on this is mostly based on the natural locale that I can find in the area. So I would really love to travel around the bush in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm. That would be fun. Yeah, also, it's incredibly far away, so good luck getting there. Hopefully you don't take a direct flight when you go. You're going to be stuck in that plane for too long.
Yeah, usually they say, like, if you're going to that part, like Australia, New Zealand, you can take some time to go somewhere else in between just to break up the monotony.
Yeah, because hearing that airplane hum for more than 16 hours is not fun. Yeah, so I guess aside from Hong Kong, because I definitely want to go back, and I just got back, my number one place I want to go is Vietnam, actually.
Interesting.
I really love the cuisine, or what cuisine I can get in America. I've never been to Vietnam. I would like to go to Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. And I just like the my image of Vietnam. I guess I don't know what it's really like, but there's all sorts of like there's beaches. It's beautiful. It's really hot. I really like hot weather. I guess I hate mosquitoes, so maybe I'd hate it. But the food is really my primary focus here. I love Vietnamese food. Almost. It might be my favorite cuisine. It's just so
wow.
It's so delicious. There's because I love cilantro and they love cilantro, and I love pho, right?
They always give you basil with the pho though. No cilantro.
Yeah,
there.
I know, but they do cilantro in, and maybe they just. I just feel like there's cilantro in a lot of the dishes. Maybe I'm making it up. They do basil in the pho, of course, but I love all the idea of their cuisine is like a simple soup, even though I cannot make that broth for the life of me, and then just noodles and just cooking everything in the soup. You take a lot of fresh ingredients and you just cook it in the soup as soon as you get it. It's such a, I don't know, it's like a dream, man. It tastes so good. I love it. And then, I mean, I don't know much about Vietnamese culture either, so I would love to experience that firsthand. I think their language sounds a little weird to me. That's just me. But it sounds very different from other languages from the region, which are mostly just Chinese. But it definitely sounds very different from Chinese, which is really cool, but it also sounds a little weird, which is also really cool.
The difference
I like
between those Far East languages might be the most trouble I have attempting to identify a language.
Yes, yeah. They are completely different from everything else. Like all the European languages, I mean, not a lot of them you can group into areas, right?
I think the European languages are really simple to figure out. Like you can't understand it, but you can. For me, I can point out. Okay, that's a Slavic language. That's like a Hungaro-Finn language. That's a Romance language. But I feel like a lot of African languages I can hear by the intonation kind of what part of the continent they're from.
Yeah.
But like within like South Africa, there are 14 different languages or whatever,
which is crazy.
And so sometimes it gets hard to tell between those like concentrated and then Far East because I've just never studied them. So like different versions of Chinese, whether it be Mandarin or Cantonese, those are hard for me to tell apart. And then it gets more complicated to understand what language is being spoken when it's it's a general, like, okay, if I'm going to Chinatown, I can clearly suspect that it's going to be Chinese. But if I have no idea and I can't see
It's
the people's
tough. Right.
faces, so I can't kind of guess where they're from, then it becomes way more difficult for me.
No, I understand. I have the same problem. It's difficult. There are a lot of different languages around the world. So, but Yvonne, where would you like to go?
My number one place that I'd really like to go is probably Zanzibar.
Zanzibar.
Yeah,
Nice.
and
Why
the
do you wanna
island
go
off
there?
the coast of Tanzania. It just looks beautiful.
Beautiful.
The water
places.
there looks exceedingly clear and beautiful.
Oh, I
and
love clear water.
it has a lot of really interesting history. It was the seat of the Oman Sultanate for a while, even though it's off the coast of Tanzania. It's within Africa, which is a place that I love to study, and I don't feel like a strong connection or whatever to the African people, but on the one hand, I kind of feel an affinity for African cultures, having taken a lot of my adult life in studying them. So it's not like I feel like I know what it is to be an African, but I feel closely connected to the
know a lot
kinds
more
of
about it than
sounds and feelings of that culture and what the different cultures of Africa, and I would really like to get hands-on experience of things that I've studied. So
Yeah.
that's why Zanzibar is a top choice. It's also got super pretty vistas, and you bring your drone, you get all your cool drone shots on the beach.
We gotta get a drone for the channel, man. We gotta get a drone.
Gotta get our drone.
Get shots.
Enter into drone races on the coast of Zanzibar.
That's cool. Well, my next place is definitely Japan, Yvonne. I need to go at least once in my life to experience the arcades, to experience, what's it called? What is the electric town in Tokyo? I forget the name, but there's basically, I think it translates to Electric City. It basically, they sell Akihabara. That's the name, I think. But yeah, that's like the center for all
Like the
video game
Pokemon?
related things. Yes, like the Pokemon. Akihabara. I think that's the name of it.
Yeah.
Look, I know very little.
Akihabara Electric
really-
Town, man.
Yeah, if you couldn't guess, I love Japanese culture. It's really great. I love anime. I love video games. Not that video games are. I love Japanese video games. Let's put it that way.
That
I
you
love
do.
JRPGs, and I love anime fighting games. I love Capcom. They're great video game developer, and I do like ramen a lot. So I can't say I'm as hype about the Japanese cuisine as the Vietnamese cuisine, but I do like Jiro Dreams of Sushi. So I'm in. I gotta go there. It's gotta be a place that I feel like it's so different from everywhere else in the world. Japan is. Not that other countries aren't completely different from other countries. Obviously they are, but I feel like Japan is in a league of weirdness to its own, and I really want to experience that. It just seems like they're so outgoing, and then also at the same time a very disciplined culture. I think that there's a lot to be learned from the way they conduct their everyday life. Basically how organized they are in basically something as simple as going on the train and being very orderly, and you're just trying to get to work, so let's make this as efficient as possible, right? You stay to the right on the escalator, you stay to the right when you're walking on the street, and you don't stop and if you do stop, you get out of the way, right? And I think I saw this in Hong Kong actually. At the airport, because obviously the Chinese love to smoke, but they had a separate smoking room in the airport, so they had to shame all the smokers in the smoking room, and I think that's very common in Japan as well. But yeah, so I would love to go to Japan, Tokyo, Osaka. I think there's there's a town called Watertown. It translates to there's like a water city, and they have this large flowing river through it, and I gotta go, man. It sounds like so much fun. Well, what is your next place?
So I also want to go to Japan. I was hoping that I could combine like a Japanese New Zealand trip.
That would be cool.
Because my entire goal of going to Japan would be to sit in the live the Gundam.
That actual Gundam that they made.
Hold on, I need to take this call for a second.
Okay, I'll vamp. It's fine. I'll talk about my next place, actually. The next place I want to go is Thailand. So, of course, all the areas I love to go and want to go are in Asia. I love everything. I mean, my mother is Chinese, so I grew up just being connected to Chinese culture. It's a culture that I identify with a lot more than pretty much any other culture, even though I connect with American culture as well. Say what you will, there is a culture in America, and we do export a lot of things, ideas and technology and things like that. And I think that we sort of get, as Americans, sort of the shit end of the stick, in that a lot of people say we don't have a culture. But I really think there is a very strong and vibrant culture in America, and it's based off of immigrants, of course. We didn't steal the culture. These people came to America for a reason, right? So, but that's different. That's not Asia. That's, of course, there are a lot of Asians that live in America, mostly Chinese, I believe. But I really connect with that part of the world, sort of on a different level. That, of course, I'm not Thai, I'm not Japanese. That's a school bus going out. I'm not Korean. I'm not Vietnamese, but I do really like just the idea of being in that area of the world. It's a whole different way of life, and of course I only have the context of of Hong Kong, and China. I've been to China as well, but basically I really like. I have been vamping the entire time, Yvonne. You just got back, and you can't hear me. But yeah, so I really like Thai iced tea. So I'm going to Thailand next. Let's go. He just came back. I can't hear you.
Thailand, huh?
Thailand is the next place. I want to ride an elephant. I wanna have Thai iced tea. Are you eating Thai food right now? You son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
I got really hungry when you were talking about Hong Kong.
and like the Vietnamese cuisine, Thai food incorporates a lot of fresh ingredients, which I think is my favorite part about eating in general. It's just using really fresh ingredients. That looks really good. I'm really hungry. I just had a salad for lunch, and it's really making me sad. I
didn't have anything for lunch.
Well, there you go. But anyways, Thai food is I think Thailand is sort of like, in my vision of their cuisine, is sort of like a mixture between Chinese and Indian cuisines. I'm probably completely wrong about that because I've never had authentic real Thai food because I've never been to Thailand, but I would really like to try it. They make a lot of curries, I think.
Yeah, they do.
Yes.
Good soups too.
Yeah, good soups.
My favorite soup I've ever had is a Thai soup.
Tom Yum soup, I think.
Tom Kha Gai.
Oh, cool.
There's a really good I think it's a Thai Vietnamese place in Buffalo.
Oh.
That serves Tom Kha Gai.
That's cool.
Next time you come to Buffalo with me, I'll take you there.
Yeah, I want to come back. That is my fourth place. My fourth dream destination is Buffalo, New York. No, I really like Buffalo. It's a fun city.
Buffalo is a really cool city.
2 times I've been there.
Oh God. 8 hours combined you've been there?
Yes, the 8 hours combined. I've been to Buffalo. Oh God. Yeah, good wings in Buffalo. Go check it out.
Good wings in Buffalo that have transitioned to San Antonio now. The Anchor Bar, which is the home of the Buffalo Wing, opened up a shop in San Antonio.
Oh my God.
Which leads me to the next place that I want to go.
San Antonio.
Argentina.
Oh, Antonio, Argentina. They start with A's.
Patagonia, Argentina.
That sounds like a really great place to go. Blood sausage, a lot of beef, a lot of steak.
Yeah, and Patagonia is supposed to be this beautiful region in terms of the natural beauty to go visit.
Is that
and camp.
that's where you want to go in particular?
That in particular. So I'd like to just go to Argentina. Of course, as soon as I start talking, there's emergency vehicles behind me.
It's all right. It happens.
But the number one place I'd probably like to go to within Argentina is, other than Buenos Aires, is Patagonia. Oop, hit my mic there.
Yeah, because because South America is a very long continent. It spans many, many different climates. And particularly Argentina has a lot of different climates within the country, which is really cool. So
you go from the Andes to the beaches and things in between. So
yeah, which is awesome.
I'm very curious to go visit Argentina in terms of its urban and then this rural area. I think would be very cool.
And the drone shots would be amazing. Come on. It's all about the drone shots.
Everything's about the drone shots.
If you don't travel with a drone, why are you traveling?
That's what I'm saying. You have to travel business class. And you have to travel with the drone. How do you travel with the drone? You have the drone floating above you, GPS style. It's just following the plane, just right above you. It's in hover mode.
If you could just make a VR unit that's connected to the camera of your drone, you're done.
That's what they're saying, that is the future of VR, is like you don't actually have to go vacation anywhere. You can just slap those on and just sit on your couch.
Life is so easy. Dude, traveling sucks, though, unless you're doing it business class. Airplanes suck.
How is your home? Does it smell of rich mahogany?
Actually, I think
Do you have many old books? How's your leather furniture?
I think I need to go decant my bourbon. No, what are they? They drink
Scotch.
Scotch. I need to go decant my crystal decanter of Scotch.
Right,
no, I was super lucky to get business class. I will literally never fly again. I'm so thankful to everyone. Oh my god.
I would go south from Patagonia, by the way.
Yeah. Yes. Wait, what? What did you say?
I said I'd go south from Patagonia.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you go. Would you go to the end of the world? You can take. Can't you take a boat? Isn't the only way to get to Antarctica a boat from the tip of Argentina?
I think you can fly in.
I don't know. I think you fly into Argentina and then you take a 5-day boat ride.
Oh, that'd be so cool. I love boats.
Yeah, until you got on the boat and you got into a storm and threw up every day. I'm telling you, I actually talked to
Master Commander, the far side of the world.
And yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a feat. I'm just saying I hate cold weather and I'm not going.
Oh, I love cold weather.
Is that the next? Well, obviously you're Russian and from Buffalo, basically. Well, you live in Syracuse. God damn it! Fuck that place.
None of these
Fuck
things
the
are
cold
hot.
weather. Oh my god.
Yeah, Antarctica's definitely on my list.
Really? Mm-hmm. See the seals there.
Plus, I want to celebrate my birthday on every continent.
That would be awesome.
I've got 3 so far.
Have you been to South America?
No.
You've got Africa, Europe, and America.
I haven't celebrated my birthday in Africa.
Oh, shit.
So I've been to 4 continents.
You've been to 4 continents, sorry.
But I have never... I've only celebrated my birthday in Europe, Asia, and North America.
Right. That is a good idea, actually. That's a really cool goal.
Yeah, thanks.
My next place would be to visit Australia, or I want to visit the outback. I want to do pretty much what you said about New Zealand. I want to go on the corny tourist stuff. I want to see kangaroos. I want to eat, what is that?
It's Szechuan beef.
Sichuan, see, you're having the Sichuan food. It's good, but it's not
spicy.
It's not spicy. So that's what I'm saying. If it's not spicy, not even Sichuan, not even close.
I know,
but it's good.
It's greasy.
It's good though. I love greasy beef on rice. That's one of my favorite things to eat. But anyways, Australia, I want to see all the wildlife there. There are animals that live there, marsupials in particular, that live there that don't live anywhere else. I hate spiders, but I'll still go anyways. I definitely want to go. But yeah,
There are more things in Australia and New Zealand that can kill you than pretty much anywhere else per square mile.
Yeah, that's why I want to go. That's where I'm gonna go last because I'm gonna die there.
Most likely.
So,
R.I.P. Steve Irwin.
Vaughn, what is your next place? We gotta wrap this up. So
my last, well, I'll combine these two. I do a kind of a loop. So I'd really like to do Paris, Vienna,
Ooh.
Prague, Budapest.
Dude, get that duck from Paris. Oh my god, get that confit.
So kind of like the old
The Parisians know how to eat.
the old European capitals, and really delve into that Parisian duck confit. Really
Dude.
enjoy
The French know how to eat.
my duck fat that from a duck that's never moved in its life.
Oh, that's another reason why I love Vietnamese cuisine, because Vietnam was partially owned by the French, essentially, and so they made their way into the cuisine. They sell baguettes there, man. That's so cool. The banh mi, they're made on baguettes, so that's so
Banh mi is so good.
And I think doesn't have anyway. Whatever, I won't say it. But my last place would be to go to Korea, actually. My friend has been living there for the past 2 years, and he's been telling me nonstop, you gotta come, it's so much fun. We get drunk all the time. I want to go there before I get old, so it's okay to get really blasted. He gets really drunk there all the time. They drink a lot of soju. The Koreans like to drink a lot, and they like to have Korean barbecue a lot. I love Korean barbecue, so good. It's just it seems like a very fun time to go out drinking with your buddies and have some nice food. Sorry if there was a car outside, but some nice food, and it seems like Seoul seems like a fun time. You can drink outside. I haven't been to a place where you can drink outside. I guess except for New Orleans, but yeah, it just seems like a destination for a young person. To go and have a really fun time with their friends. So that's a place I want to go.
Nice.
It's not necessary. It's not necessarily for sightseeing or anything. Just to have a fun time. That's why I would want to go.
Sounds good. I would like to do that as well. Actually, you know the guy who did Train to Busan?
Yes, I do know.
He has a new film on Netflix called Okja.
Really?
Yeah, we should check it out before the next podcast so that we can talk about it.
I'll watch it on Thursday. What's it called?
Okja. Okja. Okja.
Okja. What is this movie about?
Genetically modified super pig is they're dumped all around the world, and this Korean family raises one, and it ensues when she thinks that the family is going to keep the pig, but there's a complication with the bioengineering company taking the pig back.
To all our listeners, watch that before the next podcast. We will both do the same, and then we can all talk about it and spoil it. Yeah, and basically any culture that can cultivate both the movies Old Boy and Train to Busan and this movie, I'm totally into.
Plus the Handmaiden.
And the hand.
Real serious scissoring scenes in Handmaiden.
Oh my god. And the person that made Old Boy, I think, made 3 movies, and I think they're like a spiritual trilogy. One of them was a vampire movie. Can't remember the name of. Really weird sex scene in that too. Scissoring was a reference to a sexual act.
Yes.
Okay, not like Edward Scissorhands. Okay, that's cool. Can Edward Scissorhands scissor someone without making a bloody mess?
Probably yes.
Is his penis a scissor?
No.
Is my question.
No.
He's just Edward Scissorhands.
So the guy who did Old Boy also did The Handmaiden.
Oh, so it must have been the third. What was he did? He made a vampire movie. If you're on his thing, I think he made a vampire movie. If you're on his
Lady
IMDb.
Vengeance, sympathy for Mr. Vengeance.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Never mind.
Old boy.
And there's the good, the bad, and the weird is an awesome Korean movie, sort of parody of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Really cool movie. You should check it out. I think that's on Netflix also.
We shall check out at least Okja before the next pod. So if you want to follow along.
Yeah, awesome. So Yvonne, we're going long mostly because of me and my story.
I had a few things that I wanted to touch up on that we've touched up on in previous podcasts before we get into
corrections or
some radio stuff.
Yes.
So major important things. So today we're recording this on July 12th. So it'll come out a little bit after this, but please make sure to do as much as you can to fight for net neutrality.
Oh, yes.
Today was the launch of a large campaign. A lot of websites from Reddit to...
John Oliver made a website, too.
Yeah.
Go
FCC yourself.
FCC yourself, yeah.
Make sure that if you are passionate about net neutrality like we are, because we're creatures of the internet and want to make sure that it's a level playing field for all of us, please go and make sure that you're contacting
and go FCC yourself.
your representatives, making sure that you're fighting for net neutrality and not against it by doing nothing. And also
listen to our net neutrality podcast. Sorry about that.
Episode 2?
Yeah, episode 2.
It lays out basically the case of why Ajit Pai is going to be terrible for net neutrality and why he continues to be a threat to net neutrality. Then the Larsen C shelf just broke away, which is a big thing that we talked about in terms of global warming, and scientists are determining what was the cause of that,
our global warming podcast.
Why that was, and global warming is continuing to be a rising issue, not just because of the oceans, but for a lot of other things. So making sure that we touch up on those things, as well as the fact that Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, just bought an Overwatch competitive league team. So there you go. Anyway, those are some previous podcast topics that we talked about. If you're interested in them, because we touched up on them just now, please go back and check them out either on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes. Then you can leave a review, comment, do anything that you like to make sure that your voice is heard to us, as well as our voice getting heard to as many of you as we can. Thank you so much for our support. And as always, Julien likes to end the show in a segment he came up with, and he deemed Hungover Radio. Now, Hungover Radio is a segment that I'm going to try and introduce because I didn't get to talk as much.
He's got this. Yeah, you son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Just do it, man.
So it's a song. So we prefer that Hungover Radio be a song that somebody has created and submitted to us so that we could promote you guys and the creative and fantastic beings that you are. But as we don't get submissions all the time, or interstitially, we just want to have our own songs play, we'll throw in what we want. And this week, it is a star song that Julien has recommended. You'll be surprised that Julien likes video game music. And what is this week's?
This week's song is Gerudo Valley from The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Of course, this game came out in 97. Very old game. Came out about 10 years ago, I think.
There's a new trick in it, though.
What is the new trick?
It's a
Wait,
whole
someone
thing.
Figured it out? Oh, God. Go check that speedrun out. This is one of the obviously, most of the music in this game is iconic, and the Zelda series in general. I think this song is really great, and what better place to play it than Hungover Radio? Also, I wanted to reiterate that net neutrality sorry, you just remind me, is the I guess the problem that we're gonna have to deal with that will affect you as someone who uses the internet. Politicians talk a lot of shit about everything, and a lot of the things don't directly affect you, but net neutrality will directly affect you, and you will see the effects of what net neutrality is, should Ajit Pai get everything that he wants. So I thank you for bringing it up again, Yvonne.
Mhm.
I really want to reiterate it's very important that we don't have that we take action and things like that. So definitely go FCC yourself and things like that. But yeah. Anyways, this song's great. You can email your songs to us at gaminghungover@gmail.com. You can get in contact with us at gaminghungover. I'm at Jujubes Good. You're
At Bach in the USSR.
and of course, all that information's in the comment section below. And hope you guys enjoy the song and enjoyed the podcast. Peace out.
Bye.